everybody. It is 8 o'clock p.m. Y'all know what time it is. It is Earl Grey Tuesday, and once again, it's me. It's the VINCE. Hope everyone's doing good this Tuesday. I see you, Cal, Gabe, Vince. Glad you can join the show. Got a bunch of stuff to talk about here, folks. I mean, we really do. Just a lot of beefs going on. You got Bravo mixed in with freaking Trend Twins and Greg Doucette and all these other people, you know. Of course, Vegan Games, we've not seen a tour of his house as of yet, folks. What does his house look like, you know? I mean, where's he hiding up those stank-ass rabbits from? But we'll get into all that in just a minute, you know. Of course, as always, this is the Earl Grey Tuesday. Feel free to ask me any questions. And yes, I was told about McCluck and Cuban. I may or may not discuss that neither. It just really depends. Me, I just want to enjoy my cigar. Just keeping it real and telling it to you like it is. Well, it's kind of possible account. I mean, both of them do live in Florida, you know. Anything is possible out there, you know. Seriously. You never know who knows who. So, I mean, the only way you can actually validate that is actually asking Trump, which is going to be close to impossible. You know? Maybe during his time as far as executive time is concerned, perhaps he could have possibly ran into him or heard of him, or someone asked him at a show or anything. 155 on the overhead press. Good work, Blaha. That's good weight. What shall I drink? Well, it's Tuesday. It's it's Miller time. Although today I have a little bit of cheer wine and gin, and not just the cheer wine, local cheer wine here in Greenville, South Carolina, folks. And this is made with real cane sugar, not the corn syrup that they usually make with this. I have that, a water, as always, a Perdomo Fresco, nice hand-rolled Nicaraguan cigar, one of my favorites. It's actually time for me to order more cigars, so we'll get that done. As far as the business is concerned, horrible. Oh boy, but it's there. Work, on the other hand, in about a month or so, I should be certified or so. But yeah, it's good to be back instead of just sitting around all day and everything. That was getting kind of boring, you know. Really was. But folks, in the comments below, tell me what you guys are drinking. What are you smoking? I've shared my balls. You share your balls. God oh mercy. Look at all of this crap going on. Seems like every time during the beginning of the month, people just ratchet it up with all sorts of bullshit. Smoking weed like Brad. All right. It's a shame that I get drug tested, so no weed for me. Not that I really smoke that weed. I like cigars better. That's just me, of course. How many videos is Greg Doucette going to put out? I think he's put like 2 or 3 today out. Jesus Christ. Well, let's get some music playing at the very least. Kali Muscle live and juicing. All he's doing is blending up. 52 minutes to watch him blend some fruits up. Yeah. Man, just a lot of junk out there. But, well, you know, this is a smoke and Q&A. And the one good thing as far as content is concerned, the content is right here, folks. With me, the great one. Yeah, they're duking it out, but I don't think it's going to be the end of the result. As far as the Trend Twins and Greg Doucette, you know, I think they should suck each other's cocks, do a three-way and shoot in their mouths or something. You know, there's a lot of sexual tension between those three, you know. Just saying. But folks, it's time to light the cigar. Remember, folks, you got to toast it. Give it a nice toast. Make sure you hold this thing away from the flame, naturally. A little more toasting, and now it's ready to light. And that, folks, is how you light a perfect cigar. If you notice on the screen right here, watch this. Every single part of that is lit, practically. And that keeps it from edging. The cigar could still edge. And remember, folks, if your cigar has a wrapper, make sure you keep it up there until you get to this point. Well, Alex, I mean, if you're a fabuloso, I'm not going to reach for your Dicoloso. You're going to have to get on Grinder. Well, Alex, it's supposed to somewhat look like one. Because you have to remember, an electric cigar is going to be all even. It's just decorations. I mean, part of it is lighting the cigar right, but, you know, depending on the quality of the cigar and how it's wrapped, it can slay from side to side. So when someone asks me from side to side, there's two things. One, it's either a really badly rolled cigar, or two, it's not properly lit. But even if this edges out, you still want to eliminate 50% of the process. Now, it's always going to edge a little bit, you know. That can't be helped. But yes, there is indeed a technique, Alex, as far as lighting a cigar is concerned. But folks, get your questions in. The great one is on deck. With much respect. And of course I got my drink too, so... That guy, what's up, man? Where does the black community stand on China? That's a good question. You know, I don't report for the Negroes or anything like that, just to let you know. Uh, but if I had to take a guess, the black community has a historical fact to really not like Asians that much, especially Koreans. If you look at, especially in LA, they absolutely hate Koreans. So I would say the stance is probably negative. Now, not for me. I've dated an eight. My last boyfriend was Asian, so you know. It was always funny how his phone looked because I mean it's basically got that. I think it was either China or Korean script he was reading, or probably both. But that's the crazy thing. Just the kindergartner has to learn about 500 symbols. Middle school, you're up to 2,000. In all, there's about 7,000 different symbols in order to read and write in Chinese or Korean or Japanese. It's insane. Oh, I'm doing quite well. Just busy with work there for the most part, finishing up certifications and everything. I will say it's nice being out of the house. I was cooped up in here for well, I wasn't really cooped up, I was traveling around, but, you know. Look at all these goodies. Wonder why Frank Tofano's wearing that silly mask.
So it's pretty.
Y'all take a look at this mess here. Look at this. What in the blue hell is this here, folks? Do y'all have any idea what this is? Now, this is an example of someone that has any lack of anything. Can you imagine walking around in a warehouse and your coworkers are seeing you wear this stupid thing? It's like he has a broken condom on the top of his head. God damn nincompoop. He thinks he's a Supreme Court justice? I wonder if Veganism Exposed has got that on lock. Let's take a look and see. Oh, wow, I've not been keeping up lately. He's put up a lot of videos. It's got like 3 of them, but we'll watch them. Old Frank has mad cow disease. I have no clue what he has. It looks like he has a broken condom on top of his head, to be honest with you. Look at that ash, folks. Quality cigar. Although, like I said before, even with a high-quality cigar, it can have a little bit of edging on it. And that's going to always happen. But it'll even itself out, so... Now, in the event that your cigar edges out, you always want to just toast it to the side like this here. But you don't want to directly hit the cigar itself. If you do that, you can really screw it up a little bit. I had a roommate from undergrad that only ate red meat. He ended up murdering his landscaper last year. Oh, geez. It didn't have anything to do with red meat. Just had to deal with he had vegan gain syndrome. He was a nutcase. Now, we're already at the third now, so we can now take off the wrapper on this. You still want to be very careful with it. There you go. It's impossible for me to get laid off that guy. I have a contract. So if I go, I'm gonna still get paid that guy. So believe me, I'm not going anywhere. But I do know where Gabriel Sori works, so, you know. But folks, even though I took a dramatic pay cut, the one thing I did do is sign a contract, meaning that if I leave for any reason whatsoever, I still get paid for what that agreement is for. I would doubt that guy, but I may still look up Gabriel Sori for his insolence. Not only that, they still got that alpha. McCluck still has that alpha credentials t-shirt place still open. While I don't really care much for it, it's still pretty much a sign, that guy, that they're still wanting to irritate me. So I don't buy anything that they have to say. And I know that's McCluck's little alpha credentials thingamajig. I've done a number of collaborations with Vegan Gains. There's a ton of debates that we've actually had. So we've collabed before. It's just been a while. Have a black man get me the job. Oh, I couldn't get you a job there. Like I said, I'm walking in to a job to where literally I have almost no experience in. Or the experience I had was over 25 years ago. And you got to understand that a lot of things have changed in the medical community, such as Obamacare. HMOs are not as big of a dicks as they used to be and everything. So I still gotta relearn everything. I told Pugman about how much I was getting paid there, and we had a good laugh over it. You'd be surprised. I'm good. It's a good thing I don't live off that paycheck, that's for sure. Raccoon's been releasing a lot of videos instead of shorts. Pretty interesting. Wonder why they're doing that for. You see, when it comes to YouTube videos, you can either release them as shorts or regular videos. It looks like they're putting them as putting what should be shorts as videos. Maybe they just need more content or something. I'm not sure. Doesn't look like they've done well. I still got to operate a computer, Alex, but it isn't just the thing about it is I didn't want to spend time working another job for another 3 or 4 years at Spectrum or at T-Mobile or so forth, knowing that, a layoff is just around the corner, and my job being shipped over to India. Can't deal with that no more. This job, it's impossible for it to get shipped overseas, literally. And that's exactly what I wanted. But it's very convenient. Like I said, weekends off. I'm done by 5 o'clock. I hit the gym. Knock it out. Soak in the hot tub. Come home. Do a couple, check the websites, process orders. Watch TV, jerk off, have a cigar, It's good, Buckfast tonic, no. That stuff is like the night train of the USA. That stuff's pretty strong. I've had one before. Buckfast tonic wine. Jeez. I didn't know they still made that stuff. I never ordered takeout Chinese. I mean, my Asian boyfriend, he didn't at the time. He didn't like it for some reason or another. He seemed to like fried chicken. Maybe that's why I was attracted to him. Oh. But nah, he seemed to like Bojangles for some reason or another. Oh boy. But no, as far as Chinese is concerned, I don't order it out. It's just too salty. If I'm gonna eat anything, it's going to be Japanese food, sushi or something. It's okay to laugh, folks. Now, if you notice, guys, like I said before, it's pretty much evened out, It's going to loop a little bit, but this is a result of properly lighting your cigar, as well as having a quality cigar as well. Now, one thing I haven't taught folks, whenever you have a cigarette ashtray, you don't jab the ash away, you roll it away. Like that. Well, not all Chinese restaurants, Blaha. I ate 2 13-inch Domino's pizza today. It's buy one, get one free. Am I voting for Trump? He's the Republican nominee, Alex. I told you guys I ain't voting for Biden. I'm a Republican, Alex. I'm a conservative, But I'll be honest with you, I don't really like Trump that much, I like the things he did, but the one thing he couldn't do is shut the fuck up, That's why he lost that last election. Talked about McCain. Look what happened. He lost in Arizona because he talked about McCain. He talked about Colin Powell. That alienates the black folks, if he just shuts up for once and is quiet, he could have easily blown away Biden. He would have destroyed him in the election. But what killed him is just him just running his mouth, and I wish he would stop. I seriously would. He needs to get off TV for a bit, apologize to those families. That's another thing. He needs to apologize for things that he's done for once. Make him look like a human being in front of people, McCain was no coward. He was a POW. But more importantly, flew those airplanes around in the war. That in itself is pretty dangerous, but then getting captured and being a POW and being tortured and everything, that's a real American right there, Of course, what did Trump say? I like my politicians that weren't captured. But of course, McCain is gone. May he rest in peace. Life, we have to move on. But the reason why I brought up McCain, Alex, is just one of the reasons that turned public sentiment against Trump. Trump would have destroyed Biden easily. Biden's a loser, He would have destroyed him easy. But he just messed up. Pugman, my dog, what's up? Yeah, I'm getting pretty used to the grind. The key that I've been doing is just making sure everything's packed up. I got chargers, got my computer and everything. So that way when I get off work, I can go to the gym office, get some work done, and then hit the gym and then go home and just rest and relax. But I hope you're doing well. Well, Alex, what else can you do? You sit in jail and make the best of it while you fight your appeal, What are you going to do? Scream behind bars or something? I mean, it's kind of sucky, but, what else can you do, Yes, indeed. Be sure to thank Pugman. Be sure to thank everybody else that has contributed and supported this live stream and the YouTube channel of the Great One. But yeah, as far as it's just a lot of new work I have to learn, Pug. And I told you how much I made on my first paycheck there, so. But I chose convenience and longevity over a large paycheck this time, and I think it was a really good decision. I would move to Missouri has to extradite, Alex. What are you talking about? No, there are no reactions on the stream anymore. This Earl Grey Tuesday is I reverted it right back to what it used to be. Although I do play some videos on here, but it's not it's videos that I pick or just random content. The Midnight Run is where people submit reactions, and that's always been the case. For me, once I went back to work, I just went back to the basics. Well, Alex, most states won't extradite for misdemeanors. I don't know of any state that expedites for misdemeanors. Simply because you're not going to get much for a misdemeanor. So it's a waste of money for the state to do so. But I will tell you guys this here, Pug, and everyone else. The weather has been awesome. It's a nice 74 degrees. Now, the morning time is a lot colder. I got up, it was like 36 degrees, so I have to be very mindful to turn back on the heat before I go to bed. Otherwise, I'll wake up in the ice capades, literally. But yeah, I've been training pretty hard. I mean, I work pretty much near the gym, so it's pretty easy for me to get my workouts in. And I've been pretty good at packing up my... I showed y'all my new bag. Now I have a battery charger with it as well. So literally speaking, I don't have to head home or charge up my phone because I have a charger built into my business backpack. Yes, I live in South Carolina. After work for now. In April, I may decide to work late in the afternoon until 7. And if that's the case, I'll work out in the morning. But I think I'm going to keep things the way it is. My neighbor's black. I mean, there's plenty of black people that go to the Citadel. Well, at least now. It used to be pretty racist. They used to not allow Negroes there. They used to not allow women either. Of course, nowadays they're allowing anyone and anything to be in sports and other places. But when someone asks me about the particular sports issue and everything, you know, that's a woman's problem, to be honest with you. Leave that up to women to decide what to do. It's like abortion. I'm not going to have a freaking baby, so leave that up to the women to decide. I mean, they're going to be carrying the little monkey around anyway. I hit abs pretty hard yesterday, and they're just itching right now. All cramping up and everything. The people in my classes now all get 98 or 100. If they're young, I mean, kids are a lot smarter than the people of the past than they used to. But again, there's a difference between knowledge and wisdom. They may have a lot of book smarts. They may know how to use a computer and a phone. They may know how to make money with social media. But they still dumb as far as wisdom is concerned. Oh, I've really cut down on coffee, Pug, man. I only have 1 cup in the morning nowadays. And that's pretty much it. Sometimes I'll have something in the afternoon, very rarely. But no, I'm down to 1 cup. Part of the reason, Pug, is because I go to bed at 10 and I don't want to be wide awake or anything. Plus, all the work that I do anyway, it's also trying to be health conscious, you know. I was drinking way too much coffee. But yeah, Now I have a backload of coffee, actually, so it's going to take a while for me, Pugman, to get through the coffee I've already purchased. And I have practically no facilities to really make coffee at work. There's a coffee machine, but the coffee tastes like crap. So, it's still a Robusto, Pugman. Not a very big. I never smoke big cigars, especially because it's just too much of a cigar to me. I just prefer Robustos. A good 45 minutes to an hour smoke. Do you believe sadism is very common in most humans? No. Only to the crazy ones. Vast majority of people are generally normal. That can be a problem because normal people are usually like lemmings. But very few psychopaths. That's a result of a mental issue, Infinite. Am I ever worried about going to jail for your trolling? No. First Amendment protects freedom of speech. I only shower at home. That's all I do, Andy. When I'm at the gym, I soak in the hot tub. So that's my... Well, it's not really a bath, but I just soak in the hot tub. But I just take showers nowadays. When I was growing up, I took baths because, we didn't have showers in my house. Once they put a shower in, I started just showering instead. But why do prisons preventing suicides if people suffer there? It's their own fault. For the most part, it's their own fault for suffering. There are some people that are wrongfully in prison, but the vast, vast, vast majority of people in prison deserve to be in prison. You can't yell fire in a theater. People have yelled fire in a theater and they've never gotten punished. I don't think trolling doesn't even come close to yelling fire in a theater. If you were going to punish trolling, CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, they would be off the air. TMZ would be out, Practically every reality show would be out. There wouldn't be any entertainment if trolling was made illegal. Because that's what news stations do anyway, they troll. Did you see the interview with, just an example, Alex? Did you see the interview with Tucker Carlson and Chris Cuomo? Tucker Carlson talked shit about Chris Cuomo for many years and never met the guy and never spoke a word to him until that very day. Literally. He trolled him for years. Well, there's a lot of privatized prisons here, Alex. There's always been a number of BS cases. I mean, once you get arrested and you go to trial, Alex, literally the world is against you. It's very difficult to win in a court of law, especially with a public defender. I mean, a prosecution has millions of dollars and many assets in order to get you convicted. And even if they don't have evidence, there are words that they could say that'll automatically get you convicted. They can turn the public against you. You have your face plastered all over the news as if you are already convicted. That's why most people could plead guilty. If I got arrested for something, even if I didn't do it, I would still get convicted anyway. You want to know why? Because a lot of these places will put you on the media. Your face is plastered everywhere. So the jury that's going to try you has already seen your face on a video, on TV. And there's no such thing as a good mugshot. If you smile in the mugshot, they think you're laughing about getting away. And if you have a grumpy face, then they're going to still think you did it. It's really a no-win situation, Alex. Unless you have money, because remember, money talks and bullshit walks. People get convicted and go to prison because either they did it or they're just too poor to defend themselves. That is a general problem we have in this country. A working stiff has no chance in court. Not for fines, not for anything. I wish things were different, but they're just not, This is a pretty good cigar. I love the Perdomo Frescos. I actually got to place an order for cigars tonight. I'd rather be in an American prison, Andy, because I don't know what a prison is like in Madagascar. Now, if we're talking Norway or Sweden, I'd rather be in one of their prisons. Their prisons are very nice. You ever seen a prison in Norway? Let me show you guys this here. This is a prison in Norway, folks. Literally. Let me remove my face. Take a look at this prison. Just look at it. That's a Norway prison right there. That's a prison guard. Look at the place here, folks. They're doing camera stuff. I mean, this seat looks like he's almost at a nightclub, literally. Look how fancy that is. They got this walkway. This guy is playing freaking drums. This is a Norway prison, folks. Look at this sound studio in prison. Make their own music. This is prison, folks, in Norway. Literally. It's just insane. if I go to prison, I want to go to prison in Norway. Well, Rick, as far as Richard is concerned, he wouldn't do very well in prison. But if his temper keeps going up, you know, that's definitely a possibility. But you have to understand this here, Alex. Anyone can go to prison. Someone can take someone like you or me. They could trump up some charges, get the media against you, get the jury against you, have all the resources. What's a stop? What do you plan to do? You know, literally. Like I said, a working person, a working stiff, an average person has no chance in the court of law. They say innocent until proven guilty. Well, they're wrong. Wrong. So the best thing to do is just stay out of trouble. That's also the reason being is you got to sit there and make the best of it. I know the prison looks like a freaking resort. Let's check out a Sweden prison. Sweden looks just as good. But they're beginning to close their prisons. So they're closing some of them. This here is a Swedish prison right here. Let's get this enlarged a little bit. I mean, this is a Swedish prison right there. Look at that. Look at that architecture. Is that not insane, folks? This here is when you remember when ASP Rocky got locked up? This is where he was. Check this out. I'm going to enlarge this again. That's where ASAP Rocky stayed. That's the prison. Look at that place. That's prison in Sweden. That's the kitchen in a high... This is a high security prison right here. Look at that kitchen. That kitchen's way better than my kitchen. It's better than Sean G's kitchen. Sweden's kitchen is better than your kitchen. It's just nuts. Scandinavia has similar prisons. And then we have this here. So, folks, I'm going to take you on a little tour, folks. This here, this, folks, is where I used to work at. This here is Blue Pod right here, where I'm having here. This here, let me enlarge this as best as I can. This here is Blue Pod, folks. I usually sat there. This used to not be there, actually. Or actually, no, that was there. This is a buffer to keep inmates from sneaking up behind you and hitting you. Now, most people think that they're just locked behind these doors and everything. Well, they're wrong! Wrong. So this is Blue Pod here. It's on the 3rd floor. You can see the layout here. Let's go to the next picture. This here, this is what a bunk looks like in Blue Pod. If you notice, there's still stuff under there. This is the front of the building. I used to put my cigarette butts out on this. This here is actually the old jail right here. As you can tell, this is the older section of Greenville County. This was built first, and then the newer jail, the Blue Pod, was built. So this looks like it's on the... This is either S block or T block, actually. This one here is... This is B. This is actually B block. Because it has those extra beds. But now we're talking about a state facility, so we're going to get out of that. Well, some of them were bought off, Alex. And they ended up being booked in, too. They try to get you to take the deal, then when you don't, they drop it. Well, sometimes they'll drop the hammer on you. Was Wes in prison? During my time? Probably. He did a stint, but he did other times in jail, so chances are the answer is yes. Fitness Bree. Let's take a look at the whore. Let's see. She's got a little Joker face going. Sort of. Maybe she's just smiling a bunch. Excellent physique. This is a lot better. But I would give her a 7 at least, you know. It also matters the state. In South Carolina, you're just fucked when it comes to getting convicted. Oh, I almost forgot to show you this, folks. This was sort of like my favorite section. Let me show you where all the magic happened. This here, folks, is intake. This is where we booked everyone in. At this particular cell right here, because I remember, this is where during Christmas there was a guy dressed up as Santa Claus jerking off. So we had a sheet over that bed there. Now, the prisons are a lot different than the detention centers. Now, let me show you guys this here. I don't know if there's any sound to it. This here, again, is the old jail. And in the old jail, there's just a lot of stuff going on. Okay, I think we've seen enough of that. Like I said, the old jail was pretty much the medium to high, sort of.
Got $4.9 billion.
But as you could tell, he was introduced to the Foot Clan. But working in the old jail was kind of rough. I saw someone's head get busted to the brain matter with the chair. The one thing you need to watch out for if you're in jail, don't mess with the elderly people. Don't mess with old people in a jail. Never. They literally have nothing to lose and they will crack your skull open. Can you get Tang? It's on the commissary, Alex. You can get Tang. Most bodybuilders, Alex, whenever they got locked up, and I'm sure PJ, all he ordered on the commissary is just tuna. Albacore tuna. If I was locked up, that's what I would get, is albacore tuna. There's a lot of things you can do with those cans. So they're quite useful. So you would eat tuna, you get some trash bags, fill them up with water, get your weights in, lift weights, do bicep curls with them, do pull-ups and stuff. You can get kind of ripped in jail easy because you ain't got nothing else to do. They don't have Warden burgers no more. There's no more Nutriloaf, Alex. They stopped serving that. Nutriloaf is pretty much illegal at this point. Not in my day, but let me show y'all a picture of Nutriloaf. But Nutriloaf is mostly outlawed. But this here is a picture of Nutriloaf. So what would happen back in the day, Alex, that's the Warden burger right there. Essentially, the best way to describe it, they call it also the disciplinary loaf. It's the ingredients in a Nutriloaf, but it varies. But usually it's old ground beef, it's vegetable oil, beans, breadcrumbs, and some sort of powdered milk. We would serve it. They didn't get forks or anything. They just got a plate, plastic one. They had to drink out of the sink too. So I tried a piece of that one time, and it's not as bad as it is, but it isn't. It's pretty. You can eat one meal of Nutriloaf, but remember, this stuff was served twice a day to an inmate. So you have somewhat of a starvation factor, and the fact that, you know, you could, if you're eating this every day for a month or so forth, oh, you're going to be in pain. All right, that's the end of the cigar, folks. Well, I'm going to get one more puff. Now, the way you can tell when you're done with your cigar, once it gets to this limit, once it gets to this point here, folks, when you take a drive in it, this part heats up so much that it loses the flavor. In other words, the essence of the cigar. So I've seen people smoke it all the way through with those little tabs, but you don't want to do that. you know. Because the one thing you don't want to have at this point in time, there's too much heat going on. So all you're going to get is literally smoke. You're not going to get no flavor. Perdomo Fresco is pretty good at it, but, you know, when you've already had a cigar, why spoil it by smoking the ashes? So remember, we twist, not jab. I'll be right back, folks. I gotta take a piss. Oh boy. Alright, folks, I'm back. No, they can't bring you McDonald's, Alex. No outside food allowed in prison. They should allow it considering the food that you're fed. KJ 209702. Let's see. Oh, 702. She's Filipino. Where are all our pictures at? She doesn't really have any pictures. Let's see what we got here. Every single day, Andy. Inmates always try to bribe people. Let's try the regular image search. Nothing. I can't tell you what she looks like. I just saw a little tiny picture, so sorry, I don't have anything for her. So I can't rate someone to where her pictures are not there. Or at least pictures I cannot access. Oh yeah, we're gonna check that out as soon as we pop in the Veganism Exposed stuff. So let's turn off the music for a little bit. Let's see what we got from Veganism Exposed.
Look, the type of intelligence required to become a PhD or become a doctor is not the type of intelligence that people generally care about.
Well, doctors keep you alive. People want to stay alive. They don't want to die. What a dumb start to this video.
If you have a good memory, you can become a doctor. Sean Baker is...
That's not true at all.
Evidence of that. Like, this guy is dumb as shit. But he was able to pass, medical school just because he has a good memory. That's, like, really the important thing you need. What these people lack are critical thinking skills. And that's the kind of intelligence that people really care about, the ability to think critically. And just
If my cousin thought critically, he wouldn't. Someone's shooting outside. Probably killing one of those chickens. There's a guy that raises chickens across the street from me, and whenever he's hungry, he'll shoot. He's not even close to being right. I mean, you do have to have a good memory, but there's a lot of other skills that's required. I also don't know what kind of doctor Sean Baker is. When someone says doctor, there can be a number of other things. I don't know what kind of doctor Sean is.
because you're a PhD or a doctor or whatever, that doesn't mean you have good critical thinking skills. Again, you can say, "Oh, well, I have to be smart because I'm a doctor," but if you have a whole
Critical thinking skills means that example of that is, hey, if I get on OnlyFans and shove a dildo up my ass, that would not be a very good idea. That's critical thinking.
horse fuck you in the ass, guess what? You're probably not that smart. There was a guy who was a Boeing aircraft engineer who was a fucking zoophile who got a horse to fuck him in the ass, and he died.
So what? You're talking about one of millions of doctors out there. So he's basically comparing the bizarre case of, and this is not even a doctor, this is an engineer, which really doesn't matter. I mean, there's a lot of sickos out there anyway, so.
From the horse fucking him in the ass. Was he smart? He was a Boeing aircraft engineer, but you can't be that smart if you have a horse fuck you in the ass. Same with the carnivore diet. You can't be too smart if you're eating a diet comprised only of fucking skeletal muscle tissue that contains no fucking vitamin C, which is...
Well, he's wrong again about it. If you're using grass-fed beef, they've literally eaten all the plants for you. It's already digested, so all of those minerals are in there, literally. But I still wouldn't do a carnivore diet because you have a great amount of cholesterol that you're going to consume regardless, no matter how lean the meat is.
Which is absolutely required for you to fucking live.
Also business owners, all sorts of people that are well accomplished and
again, he doesn't know what he's talking about. I mean, you do have to have a good memory, but there's just so many other things you need. Let's see what this one is. Vegan Gains lies about being able to bench 405.
There's beaches there, but I mean, there's beaches in a lot of places that aren't fucking overpriced and stupid. And on top of that, it's a Muslim majority country, so that means there's stupid obscenity laws. If you do certain things in public, like sing or show too much skin or anything like that, you can get arrested. Or if you
can get arrested in the U.S. for running around buck naked, showing your public hairs. But yes, Muslim countries are a lot more stricter, but they do have also a lot less crime too. So I still wouldn't want to live there. I mean, I'm a homosexual. I enjoy the company of other men, and if I went to a Muslim company, I would be enjoying the company of a bunch of Muslims tossing me off of a fucking building. Just keeping it real and telling it to you like it is.
Badmouth Islam. So, yeah, why would you go to somewhere where you have no freedom of speech, no real rights? You have to be cognizant. But I mean, skin or anything.
That's not entirely true, but we can continue.
Like that, you can get arrested. Or if you badmouth Islam. So, yeah, why would you go to somewhere where you have no freedom of speech, no real rights? You have to be cognizant of political correctness all the fucking time, or else you can go to jail. Horrible urban sprawl. It's hard to fucking get around anywhere.
What are you talking about? You live in a liberal shithole like Canada. People get arrested in Canada for expressing their beliefs and stuff, you know, literally. So he goes and talks about freedom of speech. The only place that actually has true freedom of speech is in the good old USA. But Lord knows in Canada, if you piss off the status quo, you know, they're going to arrest you for it.
Where the public infrastructure just in general fucking sucks. There's like literally, what, 1 million fucking poop trucks that have to go in and out of fucking Dubai because they didn't set up a proper sewer system. It's just a terrible...
Well, it's a fucking desert. We also have poop trucks in the US, and there's poop trucks in Canada. It's a freaking desert. Most people just take a shit in the desert, and it just dries up in the dirt. And they take that shit, and they use it to grow vegetables and stuff.
Terrible place.
Yeah, I can leave a $500,000 watch on the daybed at a beach club when I go in the water because I don't want to go in and watch. Right. I come back, I have no downstairs. There's no brokies in the ball.
What's my bench now? I think I can probably bench 405 at this point. Last session, I did...
If he can bench 405, then why isn't he taking up the fight with Lamar for? He said he was going to fight, he raised money on it, and then all of a sudden my elbow hurts. But yet I can bench 405.
350 for 3 sets of 5, and it flew up pretty easily. Ugh.
That right there is not 405 pounds.
So that is 350. So should probably be able to do 405 pretty goddamn soon.
No, there's a lot of brokies. Really? Oh, there's...
Sure you can. Sure you can. If he can bench that much, then go ahead and fight. Really. Go ahead and fight. I don't think Hemingway is plant-based. I think he's trolling KCB. I really do. That is true, Alex. It's hard to get less than the B. Anyone who can... Yeah, I remember Jay saying that, and Jay is exactly right. Am I British now? No. But let's take a look at this video here. Maybe there might be some Britons in it.
And their minister is here tonight. I'm going to stand up. Welcome.
Do you ever feel bad when you unintentionally offend someone?
No, I don't. Yeah, I basically never really care if I offend anybody. I usually find it amusing when somebody gets offended, and generally speaking, I intentionally try to offend people, and when I unintentionally do it, it's a pleasant surprise, because then without any effort, I can see somebody freak out, give me wah-wahs, and, you know, start a fight with me. Thanks for the donation, Jessica.
Welcome.
Nobody generally starts a fight with Vegan Gains. No one generally starts a fight with my cousin. He goes and looks for trouble, you know. Literally speaking. So let's get to Greg Doucette's little answer as far as to... Because there's a couple of things I do need to catch up on as far as news are concerned. So let's catch up with Greg Doucette. Let's see what the hell is he talking about. Because if you guys remember the comments that Greg had made, and the Canadian IFBB actually responded saying that they had banned him. So let's take a look and see, because he posted up a response video 3 days ago.
to a group of males and females. Not gonna say that person's name. If you're watching this, you know who you are.
Ooh, he sounds very mad. His voice pitch is even higher than usual.
You think?
I certainly hope he's doing better, Maroon. But it doesn't look like it. At least he has more space than those stank-ass rabbits. Yes, indeed, and 911 has been called before, so that was good mince seeing him on the ground, you know.
Think Coach Greg is bad for saying that women can look delicious? How many times have I said how hot and how delicious?
You can't, there's nothing wrong with saying a woman is delicious, unless you are an IFBB judge that's judging women, you know. Big difference. It's like me at work there, for example. If I went around and said this particular medical insurance was shitty, that would be perfectly fine in a general situation if I didn't work for the medical industry, but which it really isn't. Medical insurance saves money. But if I went to work and said the same thing, then I would probably get fired. So you have to be mindful of your position. You have to have some self-awareness to where, okay, I'm going to say this stuff, but is it going to affect my job or my position? Greg Doucette was an IFBB judge in Canada, you know, judging women. And he goes and says women are, yeah, so you got to be very careful as far as to what you say about women. That's why there was a big stink raised up.
Thurston actually is. Muscles oozing out of everywhere, looking delicious all the time. Video by none other than Mr. Delicious himself, Mike Thurston. Coach
But was Mike Thurston an IFBB judge?
Greg, and today another natty or not on Mike, Mr. Delicious Thurston. Horrible. How could Greg say that? I mean, after all, it's not as if Arnold Schwarzenegger himself would sit there and say, I'm drooling watching women's wellness and bikini.
Arnold is not judging the shows. He runs the show. He isn't judging anyone. Not only that, what are they going to do? He's Arnold. The name of the show is the Arnold Classic. There's no comparison.
Sitting down here and I'm drooling. So, I mean, it's like a...
And so is this actually shocking for someone to actually speak out and say what every single person is thinking? Remember, there's a show, it's called Seinfeld, and he just said what's actually going on. He's just speaking about the elephant in the room. Well, the elephant in the room is women's bikini is over.
Well, it's sort of like having a pedophile judge a children's pageant, you know. That would be the best way to describe what Greg Doucette pretty much did, you know. Greg Doucette is judging women, and he's ogling at the women at the same time. You know, the women didn't have a problem with him saying it. They had a problem with him judging shows, specifically.
Overtly sexual. Oh my God, I can't believe it. Oh my God, is it really? They're wearing thongs and they're bending over, arching their backs and walking towards the back of the stage. What do you think the entire audience is looking at? Are they staring?
The entire audience are not judges, you moron. The audience aren't judges. They're not IFBB judges. They could sit back and ogle, you know. Arnold can sit back and ogle. But an IFBB judge that's judging those women can't ogle. This is part of the thing where you're supposed to just simply keep your fucking mouth shut, you know? Simple.
At what style of shoes they're wearing? Are you wondering what size feet they have? You're thinking, is her booty better than the girl on the left? And to the...
Why now he's talking about feet? I mean, I don't look at someone's feet, you know? I mean, ew. Now you're getting real nasty.
The right. That is how they're judging from the rear. And remember, I was a judge. That's right, was a judge. No longer allowed to judge. And so, am I in fact a liar? John Bravo says, Coach Greg lied about being a judge. Did I really? Judge for years, decades. And so, to the same extent, am I not an IFBB pro? Coach Greg, IFBB pro. It says it on my Instagram channel. Am I an actual pro? Well, I haven't competed on the pro stage in 4 years, and I haven't paid my IFBB Pro membership fee, and so am I actually a pro? Well, if you think the answer is no, do you want to now compete me in my next amateur show? And so am I a pro or am I...
Even if you don't pay for your pro card, if Greg Doucette renewed his membership, he would still be an IFBB pro and he would be put in the IFBB division, you know. That's one thing I can agree with him on, you know. He's still an IFBB pro no matter what because he's already won his pro card, you know, they're not going to move him back to the amateur division, you know. A pro is a pro for life. What's up, Dusty? How's it going?
Not. And so the title reads, Greg Doucette banned for life by the IFBB. Being an inquiring person, I thought, wow, am I really? This is interesting. No one sent me anything. I haven't gotten a...
It's called a headline for clickbait. You know, you do the same shit anyway. You put up a title of a video for clickbait when usually the title that you put up on your videos has absolutely nothing to do with the subject at hand. Or it's pretty much, for the most part, embellished.
A letter? I haven't been called by anyone. No one's told me one single thing. And so when I called, the lawyer says, if you haven't received anything, none of this actually applies. And so seeing as I do have, in fact, friends who are judges, higher up people, someone wrote me and said, hey, I watched that video. Just wanted to tell you the following. I think that's a clickbait headline. I just confirmed.
What did I just say, motherfucker? I just said that. I mean, I just said that.
You are not banned from the IFBB and can still compete as a pro. I have the receipts. You can post whatever you want on Instagram, but it does not say I'm banned from the IFBB for life. Perhaps I'm not allowed to judge. I haven't been told. I'm blocked on their IG channel. I'm going to go over what they said and say what it actually means. And the comments started coming in, of which I then responded. And lo and behold, all the comments were deleted and disabled. Can't comment. And in case you're wondering about judging, what you have to do to be a judge is you have to pay a fee. It costs you $150 to become a CPA judge. How much do I get paid when I do judging? I get paid $150. And so in case you're not good at math, I'll do it for you. When I judge, I make $0. Zero.
Yes, you make $0 doing the direct work as a judge, but being a judge, it puts you in a position to where you can promote your business. That's why people become judges, you know, so they can promote their wares, that they can raise up their profile. You know, Bob Ciccarello, he's been the athlete's representative for how many years? He doesn't get paid nothing for that. But it does raise his profile. It helps him get other events. I mean, that's why people are judges. You know, you don't go be a judge for the money. It's just ridiculous. You know, so he's telling a partial truth, but you know, the reason why Greg was judging is like every other judge, to promote themselves, to get their face out there, you know.
I could tell you so many stories of what I've seen go on, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to throw these people under the bus. And if you're watching this right now, because I know you are, I know you're nervous of what I'm going to say, I'm not going to out you.
Following his unprofessional conduct in using the credibility of the judging system for his own personal gain, which I'm dying to know what it is.
Do you know what this is about? I made 2 videos back last year about men's physique and women's wellness, of which in those videos I said, you know, I know how judging works because I am in fact a judge. For example, when you bring out 5 competitors, the person in the middle is most likely going to win. The person on either side, second and third. And so if you're watching the Mr.
That I can agree with. The reason I know is because usually I was moved to the far right side of the stage. Oh, man, did I have a fucked up career in bodybuilding. But, yeah, it is what it is.
Olympia, and you see 5 people brought out, it's likely going to be first place, second and third in either order. Doesn't matter. The judges can then decide that, and fourth and fifth. That's why when you see a person's name called towards the center, they're pumped, they're excited because they know they'll probably have a good chance to win. And so what happened was I was criticized for making those videos, and I received a copyright strike. That's right, copyright strike. You guys don't like it when people get copyright stricken, right? Well, they were upset. Oh my God, Coach Greg is talking about women's wellness. He said that the criteria for building muscle, it's getting a little bit out of control. That the girls in women's wellness often have larger muscle.
To get a copyright strike, you would have had to post up actual video itself, you know. Now, as for commentary purposes, then he shouldn't have got the strike or anything, but yeah, a copyright strike isn't the same as a community strike, folks. Copyright strikes, for the most part, can be appealed and taken down if it is for commentary or transformative purposes.
Muscles.
But in this case, I would have to side with Greg on it. His video should not have been taken down because it was transformative. He was doing commentary on apparently an NPC show. So
in their legs that even I do, and I'm a male on HRT. And so I gave you my opinion. I also said in men's physique, the guys are getting too big, too jacked. I would rather see smaller physiques that could win. You remember guys of the likes of Jeff Seed from back in the day? But today, those competitors, they're bigger than bodybuilders. The men's physique competitors are so built, so jacked, so impressive, they would beat me when I was a professional bodybuilder. And so you can say I'm shitting on all the divisions, the categories, but I'm telling you,
if it was about 70 years ago, it would have been possible to be an IFBB pro naturally, but quite frankly, it's getting to the point where it's even impossible to compete on a natural bodybuilding stage, the way things are going.
What I think based on my years, decades of experience. I'm trying to help the sport, but they don't like it when I ruffle feathers.
Let me show you guys this here. Hold on. Before I continue the video. This here is the WNB. This is the WNBF World Champion right here. YouTube is pretty much a liberal channel. Gully, we already know that. But that's not why he got the community strike. It has nothing to do with feminism. But that's a WNBF World Champion right there. Supposedly he's all natural. I mean, he's definitely not as big as other competitors, but you get what I'm saying. Back to the video.
When I say, hey, classic physique, it's not fair. The weight classes, it's enhanced and it's favoring Chris Bumstead. Oh, no one does anything. Then suddenly 7 pounds are added to Erz's class. And so no, nobody listens to Coach Greg. My ideas are silly. Why would we listen to him? And so in my most recent video, I commented on how bikini and wellness are very sexualized. That's right. I said it. They are sexualized, as in...
I mean, just because you're right on something, you were speaking in a position as an IFBB judge. You're not supposed to say stuff like that. You know, it's like at work there, you know, if you see someone with a big ass or so forth, you don't go and holler at the lady at work, you know. You'll get fired, you know. Essentially put, Greg got fired from work for the work that he was doing, or supposed lack of work.
They're trying to look very sexy on stage. That the appearance, the way they act, is very conducive to looking sexy. Can we say that word now? In comparison, women's figure, women's physique, bodybuilding, a lot less overtly sexual. And why is that? Well, in these categories, for starters, they're wearing thongs. Thongs. And when you turn around to the rear, they're arching their backs, bending over, sticking out their derrieres further than last time. And the...
So what? That's for us to look at. But again, Greg seems to be missing a point, and I'm just going to hype on this again. You were an IFBB judge, you motherfucker. You're not supposed to say that. You're supposed to keep those thoughts to yourself. We know. All the judges ogle at the women's bodies, but they're not going to go and openly say it. That's where you screwed up. That's where Greg screwed up. He was ogling at the women. He was saying what everything else was coming to mind to everyone. Like I said before, just because you're right about something doesn't mean you need to say it. There's a time and place for everything. If Joe Biden said the same thing, I mean, it would be an outrage. If he could wake up.
hair extensions and so on are literally covering up their back.
Chances are, if Joe Biden went to an IFBB show, he would probably still think that Steve Reeves was the Mr. Olympia. Either that or Corn Pop.
Back muscles. All the hard work that these ladies put in the gym are being covered by their hair. Covered, blocked. You can't.
Nigga donated $3. React to this. Let's take a look and see here. What do we got? Oh, Lord.
Feature returning champion, Elgin Tens.
Normally I try to ignore stuff like this, but since I definitely do appreciate the donation, we'll go ahead and check it out. But I pretty much know what I expect.
Move over, CrossFitters. There's a new way to cheat through the KIP by enrolling there and joining a girls' sports team as a man. Their girls' basketball game on February 8 against the Collegiate Charter School of Lowell, Massachusetts ended at halftime. If the question is why, then the answer is Y chromosome. That KIP Academy student throwing his opponent like a rag doll who wore the wrong dress to his tea party is a 17-year-old man who identifies as a woman. Nobody on the girls' team stands a chance against him because his physical advantages over women allow him to hang onto balls like a nut hugger. Collegiate left after only 16 minutes of play.
Oh, that's not a nice thing to say. But I've seen this in women's league to where there's big ladies that toss other people to the ground, but unfortunately he is making somewhat of a point.
With KIP leading 31-14, but the game went into the books as a 10-0 forfeit win for KIP. That means there's still no safe combination of trans people, children, and books. This male player is also on the girls' track and volleyball teams, and he has never...
Folks, the number one leading cause of death in this country isn't trannies reading books in a library to kids whose parents bring them to the library to begin with. It's firearms. It's always going to be firearms. Not sure why he's dragging this shit in, but you know. But here's the thing about libraries: if they allow drag queen story hour, then they should allow people like Kirk Cameron to actually read his Christian books there as well. You know, even Stevens. You know, but I do see a conflict of interest to where they do allow drag time story hour, which I have absolutely no problem with. Absolutely no problem with. But at the same time, you know, you got to play on the level field. You got to allow, if you're going to allow that, you got to allow Kirk Cameron to read his books. But a lot of libraries denied him the ability to read books as well. So it's that's not fair neither, The thing about it is when it comes to a library, the first word in the word library is public library. Means any member of the public can use it regardless, because everybody pays taxes at the end of the day, But there is like I said, it's an uneven playing field. as far as that's concerned. If when it comes to a public library, all types of public should be allowed, unless it's encouraging violence or so forth. That shouldn't be allowed in a library. But other than that, having a Christian belief is not a criminal act, you know. So that's why I say, okay, you allow drag time story hour, which I don't have a problem with. You got to allow people like Kirk Cameron to read Christian books in the library just as well.
Played on a boys' team. The player is reported to be more than 6 feet tall with facial hair. If only someone could dunk on that freak. It would still count as hitting a three in transition. Officials refuse to confirm the player's gender identification. I doubt that they're legally obligated to do so, but it's like refusing to deny that your username is in a Chris Ans.
Now, there was one case to where a person was actually accused of being a man for a similar case such as this, and it turned out the person was actually a biological female. So, but given this situation, it doesn't have anything to do with it. This is a transgender person, you know. But let's continue.
In chat log. If the player identifies as female, participation on the girls' team would seem to be supported by the governing body for high school athletics in Massachusetts. Notably, the rule can't be exploited to gain a competitive advantage, even though that's the only reason for a trans woman to play on a girls' team. Being born a man gives him more basketball cheat codes than NBA Jam. The athletics board defers to the student and the school, both of whom benefit from the farce and have no incentive to reveal the inherent competitive advantage at play. To excel in basketball, he just has to learn how to tuck properly, and I don't mean his elbow. Kip has a record of 10-7 after finishing 1-19 last season. He hasn't transformed the girls' basketball team into the greatest one on earth, but he shouldn't even be on the court. No policy discussion of fairness in sports should neglect safety at all, let alone this much. That ball handler smashed a teen in the league.
Here's the problem with this guy's commentary. It's not intelligently being told, in other words. He's throwing a lot of insults, so to pretty much everybody else, you know, he would probably be ignored in about a minute or so. If you're going to make an argument against transgender people playing in collegiate sports or intramurals or anything like that, you got to do it in a scientific and factual manner without the insults.
League looked the other way. Who does he think he is, Karl Malone? Collegiate commented on his decision to forfeit about a week later. The coach of the collegiate charter school of Lowell girls basketball team decided to end the game at halftime after watching a third player injured in the game with Kip Academy. He was responsible for 2 of those injuries. All of the dudes worried about Usher grabbing their girlfriends obviously haven't seen women play ball versus someone from the Troon squad. The bench was already depleted going into the game, with the 12-player roster having 4 players unable to play. When the coach saw 3 more go down in the first half, leaving him with 5 players, he made the call to end the game early. You know it's bad when the cisgenders go down at a greater rate than the transgenders. The upcoming charter school playoffs were looming, and he needed a healthy and robust bench in 4 days. Once the third was injured, the remaining 5 expressed concern to him about continuing to play. The players feared getting injured and not being able to compete in the playoffs. I can understand why. When they fought for the ball, he gave her the Massachusetts alphabet.
We got about 20 minutes left, and I still got to finish the Doucette video, so I'm going to probably go over anyway, but we can check it out, Chad, on the Midnight Run on Friday.
People's version of the Stockton slap, the Provincetown pluck. Despite the charter school's apparent desire to stay out of the nationwide debate over trans-identified males in female sports, there was legitimate concern from the girls on the Lowell Collegiate Charter School team for their physical well-being. It's also no fun to watch half a game. If I wanted to see a mutant weaken someone through physical contact and wind up with a flat-out body, I wouldn't watch The Man Wearing 32. I'd watch X-Men 97. If you saw this clip without context and assumed that it came from a 2024 remake of Juwanna Man, then you'd be wrong, because the race swap is going the wrong way. If Massachusetts law lets schools fill their girls' teams with trans women, then I don't know.
I see why he now has 503,000 subscribers.
Know why Kip didn't go all out. Their players won't get periods, but they'll sure cause bloodbaths. There's always a risk of injury in sports, but conditions should be tuned to minimize them. It's one thing to be thrown by someone who's around your size and strength. It's another to be manhandled by Gorlock the Backboard Destroyer. KIP stands for Knowledge is Power Program. But if any schools allow trans women on girls' sports teams, then the power of their athletics programs is delusion.
0.
Oh boy. If you want my opinion about this video, it's stupid, and I'll tell you why. You know, most of the time he was pretty much spending most of the time insulting the whole incident itself there, you know. The thing about it is, if you want to sound credible, leave out the insults. You can there's plenty of people out there that are making a general argument that people are listening to. This guy calling out mutants and stuff like that, and then dragging in Drag Time Story Hour. Why? That doesn't have anything to do with it. It doesn't have anything to do with a pride parade. If you want to make a point on something, just stick to what you're doing. No insults. Lay out the facts. More people will listen to you. More people will take a word for it. But I'm going to be honest with you. If it was a regular person who even started this video, regardless as to whether they're Democrat or Republican, they probably end up turning it off, you know. But I do see why he has over 500,000 views. Let's see what other videos he has, just out of curiosity. Tess Holiday goes on a diet. Fat act. So, ooh, there's some pretty racist content listed here. I may have to subscribe to him. It might be some good mints that I can use later on in the future. All right, back to the Doucette video.
Judge it. And so when I said the judges are not looking at your back muscles, am I wrong in some way? I'm not saying, wow, nice traps, lats, Terry's major. I'm not saying any of them. I can't see them. Can't see them. And now, ladies, walk slowly to the curtain in the rear. And so they slowly walk towards the rear curtain. What do you think the judges are looking at? Are they looking at their hairstyle? Perhaps a little bit. Oh, her Achilles tendon, the tie-in down to the ankle, I'm not a fan of that. Or are they primarily looking at the glutes and where the hamstrings tie into the glutes? About 1 foot of area. And so am I actually wrong? And so just because I have the courage to say it, is there something wrong with that? And so what is...
Yes, there's something wrong with it. You were an IFBB judge. I think I'm going to say that all throughout the remainder of this video. And it doesn't take courage. You were completely fucked up in your hotel when you said the stuff. The only courage that you had was liquid courage and probably pill bottle courage as well.
This is my opinion. Well, I've been around this for a long time. When women's bikini first came out, we used to have them cover their glutes. We had 1/2 and 3/4 coverage. It was way less sexual. Then suddenly, every single year, the women would arch their back.
What are you talking about? I mean, so they had bigger cuts. You know, you could still see some cheeks, you know.
More, and the suits kept getting smaller, and so rules were put in place. We had, at the weigh-ins, you had to check in their suits. If the suits didn't have a certain amount of fabric, they couldn't wear it. We didn't want the competitions to be overtly sexual. And so consider this. Would you want your daughter right now to compete in a women's bikini competition? Would you want her to put on a thong and walk slowly towards the rear of the curtain? I don't think so. I would not be comfortable judging that woman. She should not be allowed. It is for adults only. And oftentimes I'm thinking, this is not child friendly. I wouldn't want a teenager sitting in that audience. This is very sexual. The way they're shaking their shoulders, shaking the glutes, twisting the glutes from side to side as they turn. And so if you want to keep your heads under a rug and remain plugged into the matrix and not talk about the elephant in the room, well, so be it. But to say I'm a misogynist for pointing things out, for telling you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. What you want to hear, it's not sexual at all. It's all judged on their hard work. Of course they're putting in hard work. How do you think they get those physiques? But they're covering up that hard work with their hair extensions. And to the front, breast implants, lip filler, Botox, all the makeup in the world.
That guy, who the hell is Gummy? I don't know who Gummy is.
world. Spray tans. It is very overtly sexual. And so if you don't want to compete in that, well, don't. But to act as if it doesn't exist, well, that is a problem. They said, bikini, it's a new class. They did not know how to judge it. The head judge said this, and I'm paraphrasing. In first place, it's whoever you would want to sleep with the most. Said it to a group of males and females. Not going to say that person's name. If you're watching this, you know who you are. And so to all the ladies out there, if you're watching this, do you not understand you're competing in a hot or not competition based on the face and the body? They're judging everything. And so, no, I'm not actually a judge anymore. They're not going to let me. But you know what? They never told me officially that I can't judge. And so when I attended that Arnold Classic,
you're not going to ever judge again.
Competition as a fan in the audience cheering for those competitors. That's right, I cheered from start to finish. Made videos, promoted them. I made those comments as a fan as I was not even allowed to judge at the time. I had not paid my $150.
Well, that guy, the only thing is that I only have one camera. I can't really jump on IG and still continue my videos at the same time. Plus, I don't know who Gummy is here. I mean, I'll check him out later on once my show is finished. Because my show is way more important than whoever this fucktard is. I mean, if he's butt buddies with Cuban, he's definitely going to be a fucktard.
For CPA membership fee to become a judge. They had no intentions to hire me as a judge. And so am I actually lying by saying, hey, I'm a judge, I do this? It would be the same thing like saying, hey, I am an IFBB pro, I know what it's like to dive for competition. Getting back to using the credibility of the judging panel for my own personal gain. I received a phone call. And in that phone call, I was told, yeah, Greg, you're making millions of dollars on YouTube, and it's all because you're a pro and you're leveraging the fact that you're pro. That people are listening to your channel because you're an IBB pro and you say this and say that. I laughed. Raise your hand, everybody. If you think the only reason I'm making money, that I have millions of followers, is because I say the words,
hey, Joe, what's up, man? Yes, Greg is indeed annoying. But, I mean, I don't think you're going to be able to report him for being annoying. There's a lot of annoying people on YouTube.
IFBB judge. How many of you are watching me because of my status as a judge? That is what they're complaining about, that I made financial gain from making those statements, from being a judge, and so they didn't want me to judge anymore. And so essentially, this is what happened. I was censored for speaking out and trying to help and represent the people. Men's physique, I said they should downsize. They're too big. What did they then do? They stipulated there are now weight classes for men's physique. They downsized them. I made a video, they downsized them. And in women's wellness, I said they're getting too big. Girls have so much muscle. Does anyone disagree with me? How many of you think that women's wellness should get bigger? That perhaps they've gone too far? Have you seen the size of their quads? I showed representation, examples of women who had larger legs than me, perhaps even leaner. And I said in classic physique, hey, maybe the weight classes should be adjusted. Me and my brother, Editor Steve, a biostatistician, we actually presented this to the IFBB years ago. They didn't listen to our results. It took 2 or 3 days to...
I've had enough of this stuff. Here's the thing, folks. If you're in a position of power or of authority, shut the fuck up about anything that has to deal with what you're the authority of. Plain and simple. Greg Doucette, you can be right all you want, but you were right at the wrong place at the wrong time, and you were in the wrong position. Of course, IFBB judges ogle at the woman's butt, but you know what they do? They shut the fuck up and don't say it, you know. But folks, we got 10 minutes left, so get your donations in. If that's if you want to make a donation, but be sure to smash that like button. Be sure to also thank Pugman as well as everybody else that has supported this channel here. So let's check out this Gummy's gas station and see what he's talking about. Gummy's gas station. Let's see what he looks like. Why is it called Gummy's gas station anyway? Is it Gummy from the gas station? Yes, it is. I don't see no live. He must have just went off or something. So where's his live at? Me no see nothing. But let's see what he looks like. Is there a picture of him? Well, he has a picture of me. I don't see no live here, but you know what's going to be live? A little bit of good old music. If he's live, I don't see anything that says he's live. Because I just went to his channel. Maybe he has me blocked or something. Oh, that's why I can't see it. I guess he's afraid that I might destroy him like I did Cuban a few times. I got a lot of work to do anyway, so I don't have time to deal with the butt buddy of another butt buddy of J Masters. I mean, that's just the thing, folks. McCluck leverages his somewhat fame off that little stupid boxing match, if you can call it that. And Cuban was friends with J Masters, so he thinks that he's all famous and stuff. See, both of these guys have one thing in common. Cuban and McCluck have one thing in common, is that they leech off of J Masters' infamy. The great one doesn't need to do that, you know. I've been in the industry for decades. Decades. Well, Donald Trump, he might be a nice guy, but I'm not even sure. I mean, if he's calling me out on... Here's the thing, and McCluck does this too. You're calling someone out on a live stream and you've got someone blocked. What kind of person is that? McCluck calls me out on his live stream all the time and he has me blocked. What does that say about someone? Besides, I've had, as far as my cigar is concerned, I've had a pretty good night. What do I think about homeopathic HGH? It's a ripoff, Donald. Don't waste your money on it. If you want HGH, get a prescription. Either that or look for the guy in your gym with a fanny pack or a paper bag. All right, folks, we got 5 minutes left. Get your questions in, because the great one's going to roll out, do some last minute things, because, folks, now that I work early, I get up at 5 or 6 in the morning, I go to bed early. You want to know why? Because I like sleeping. I can't function without at least 6 or more hours of sleep. Sadly, being humble is something that is in short supply these days. That is indeed true. Also, common sense is lacking in this day and age. You see, homosexuals like me from the old days, we would never, ever venture into, a transgender male moving into women's sports. We would never do things like that. Not us old school queers. We never did stuff like that, literally speaking. See, the problem with our society, these days is everyone wants themselves to be heard, but they don't want to hear the other side of things. They blacklist it. Sort of like how they've done us conservative gays. When it comes to people like me, I'm pretty much shut out of the LGBTQ community, much like other conservative gays. They act as though they speak for us, and they don't, period. What did they say to me at work? You referring to me or somebody else, Pug Man? If you could just elaborate for that there, Pug, unless you're speaking with someone else here. No, I can't. I need a lot of sleep. Usually on the weekends, I'll sleep about 8 hours, but lately I've been sleeping about 6 or 7. Well, it's like Mike Tyson said, the internet has made, I think he said to the effect, is that the internet has made people too brave to where if they met in person, they would get punched in the mouth or something like that. What is a good dish my mother makes? Deviled eggs. She makes great deviled eggs. But my mom doesn't cook anymore, Doesn't cook much. Does TRT, what she does is she'll make 5 meals and stuff, and that's it. She's retired. She doesn't, she no longer has 2 sons to look after and stuff, So once we both moved out of the house here, does TRT make you a little... No, not really. Oh, you were talking to me? Let me look at the other question. I'm a little bit confused, Pugman. I'm not sure what you mean by what they say to me at work. You're going to have to elaborate, or better yet, I'll send you an email, Pugman. But but if it's in general, as far as to what I just keep my mouth shut at work. They never say anything to me. I just do my job and just head out. How did I like the Arnold results? I thought everything lined up well. But Pug, I'm gonna shoot you an email in just a minute there. Do you think oh, definitely, they don't respect me. Number 1, because I'm gay. Number 2, I can, I don't go along with the grain of things. I'm pretty much for the most part, I'm an outsider in the black community. I'm an outsider in the LGBTQ community. It seems that the community thinks that they speak for every gay person out there, and they just don't, Like I said, 30 years ago, back in my day, we would never think about transgender males competing in the women's sports. That just didn't happen. Oh, do people talk to you at work? Oh, a lot of people talk to me at work. I made a number of friends. A lot of people, Pugman, have used to work at Verizon, so I chat with them just like I did at my previous work. But as far as me being gay, they don't care because there's a lot of gay people that work there anyway. So But yeah, part of working in an environment, especially in a corporate environment, Pugman, is communication, because that's essentially what we do all day. We communicate with customers. So naturally, to have those communication skills, we also communicate with each other. So if a white man was facing an all-black jury, what would be your advice? Just simply defend yourself. Just because a white person is in front of a black jury doesn't mean you're going to be automatically convicted. There are some people at my workplace that do work remote. I work in office. I don't have that option. Mainly because I still need to finish my certifications and stuff, which should be done by April the 12th. Oh yeah, I've been to lunch with a few of them. But folks, it is 10:02 and that is the end of the show. Do want to thank Nigger or Nigga for donating. So I'll probably go to sleep. I may rub on the soul pole before I go to bed. Forgot to do the soul pole. Other than that, folks, you guys have a good night. Don't forget the midnight run is going to be on Friday. Hey, I may even do another live stream, possibly another happy hour on Thursday. You just never know. But again, folks, thanks again for joining me. Thanks to everyone for supporting this channel, hanging out with the great one as always. I was actually drinking a authentic cheer wine and some gin. But folks, I'm out of here. Yes, the Castle Warriors are coming up there, Donald. But in the meantime, as always, peace and soul.